ụmụ iwu check en nwatakịrị aka m ụfụ enwere ike iche nwatakịrị ekunyeghị ya azụ nwoke ị ga-eche na ọ ga-adanarị
ọ ya agbaji or something.
Ọ ga-agbaji or something. Mana ifu ebe nne oche na
maybe the nwatakịrị
na
ejidio na no. Yes.
Before that na nwere ebe this apprenticeship thing na duro. All everywhere. So I'm happy.
Is there a difference between mentorship and apprenticeship? Anyway, if you DJ.
Well, ofubo oyibo. Ofubo no nubai. Apprenticeship and mentorship. Well, fana babo oyibo. Mana it's all question of imugozi.
Yes.
Or ibaboy. Whether it is about mentorship, when no in a mentor. When he did na kuzile. Open apprenticeship. He can be an apprentice on leadership in a shadow. Maybe when on a position.
Yes.
So more than can get out to answer when I believe that now I become apprentice in the course of my political career.
Yes.
John Otone. Yeah. And Colonel Ogenalu, Chief of Staff to His Excellency, the Governor of Enugu State. Before I made my point as Chief of Staff, I know the wrong position I had before.
That's Dr. Namani.
Yes. And when the manager, I'm okay as a Chief of Staff. So it's on the job. Come on, Yabife. You never get as an angel or you're going to pull Mana Yama, ana correct.
So you know, now, yes, and
and because I'm going to go to an office now about your support staff. No, I'm not going to now has a phone, you know, now I go see for certain things. So, whether it is mentorship or apprenticeship, it depends on where, in what position. Yes. But open each all to apprenticeship will in terms of the use of tools and the use of implements and things like that. And mentorship is probably more in terms of counseling and making your worldview. But in a way, it's very little difference between them, in my own opinion. Very, very little difference. Very little difference. Mentorship and apprenticeship is something that I think are very important tools for the development of any society. Even in a family. Nobody nobody na ato. Na nwewu na amuke esa tafifia. No na ekili newu. Nwewu ke ko sa amuke esa tafifia. Ona ofun ne ko na ata.
Omaru nka na ata.
Omaru nka na ata. Nka ya araf. And man ka gesi we na ata. That is what it is. So mentorship exists everywhere in families as well. And so if you carry yourself in a particular way, if you espouse a certain worldview, if you project yourself in a particular way, if you dress in a particular way, yes. The only reason why the wristwatch my right hand, for instance, is because my father. That was where I saw him wearing his wristwatch. It was always on his right hand.
Did he give you an explanation for that?
Nothing really. And I didn't even bother to ask. My father said
yes.
And that's the way I used to do it. And then mom and made the letter to was my father in Baram Odelo one. So Makamua, Hannah, and made the letter. I make an abu de quelung. I don't know what since my father said Makagin Kiji came to the letter in the Ricada would also go up on Nika Guria. The sale go to one. Also, if you had you any day and a one is Adama Mansin and young one. Especially when I'm Melaji for a bambania. Would they let us in the day, then you go, I whooped the letter, it goes in the area.
Oh, they the letter to you, address it to you.
Address it to you, straight away. I'm telling you. So, just you go see how. Behavior of, say, leaders or fathers or, people you look up to in society, how they can affect you and shape your own worldview. Yes. Talking about mentorship and talking about apprenticeship.
So, speaking of mentorship now, right, because people mentor people. Consciously, unconsciously. And when there are people that look up to you, no matter who it is you are and what you do. But to maximize mentorship, I need the IMIAC or the formal, right? So that I know my expectation towards you. I know. When do you think mentorship should start?
For me, first of all, I would say that mentorship should start as soon as the student is ready.
Okay.
Yes.
So who reaches out? Who does the...
So
Can the mentor reach out? Can the mentee reach out?
Okay, so I thought you might ask me what I meant by that earlier statement.
Yes.
And I will say this, right? What actually Ninago? Okay, when it's on the day on.
Yeah, you won't open his mouth and force food down his throat.
So for me, for instance, and when Don Abo some people have approached me, maybe I'm just somewhere for one event or the other. And some people have met me saying, please, I'd like to be your mentee. Then they reach out and say to you, please, I would like you to mentor me. But either way, the point I'm trying to make is this. The person who requires mentorship must first realize the nature of that mentorship. That individual must also then say, okay, mentorship in what area? It then means that if you recognize the area in which you want mentorship, for instance, right? If your interest is medical practice, it will not make sense for you to go and meet
a carpenter mentor.
A carpenter mentor. It means that it is logical for you to then seek the mentorship of a medical practitioner. Yes, okay? So if you aspire to leadership, for instance, in the political space, then it will make sense for you to say, okay, I like this gentleman. I like his style. I like his worldview and his philosophy of life. Therefore, I would like to come under his mentorship. So once that happens, then the next thing is whether the mentor, right? What kind of schedule do you have? Do you have room to accommodate this additional person? Or do you even want to do this at all? These are all important issues. Yeah. The fact that you approach me for mentorship does not mean that
there's no guarantee
that I'll be available for it.
Yeah.
So these are things that once these issues are cleared, right, and I'm available and you are available, then the next thing is, okay, how is this going to take place? Is it the kind of person that wants to come to your office on a daily basis? Or is this kind of individual, is it something that you want to do online? In these days, at least post-COVID, there's a lot that is happening online. Then again, what are the terms and conditions? And I'll say terms and conditions because I've also had some experiences, some good, some not so good. I've had some mentees who literally wanted to offload their lives on you, forgetting that you have your work, you have other people that you have to look after.
Yes, sir.
You have other things you need to attend to. So that becomes a problem, right? So it's always very important at the beginning, in my view, to set to agree the terms and conditions, to set the boundaries so that it is beneficial to all the parties concerned.
Mutually beneficial. How do you know that you've come to the end of a mentor-mentee relationship?
Yeah, I mean, you know that in the, for instance, if we're looking at the markets, right, in the Afia setting, now apprenticeship in the marketplace, okay? Normally, guided by agreements and idea, which is so smart, isn't it?
Yes.
Just think about it, that the people who originated these things, right, go see me how that now, if I am for life, no na erapo onya ikuzichela afia settle onya kwado onya okabalo onwe ka ndị ọzọ nwe ike ịbata ka ha mutakwa from you. So all the very, very important. So it's the same thing. You nwekwara with a mentee in an office setting.
Yes.
Nothing stops you from saying, okay, now I may agree that he or she will be mentored for 1 year, or he or she will be mentored for 2 years, right?
Yes, sir.
But then with some mentorship relationships that can go on for a lifetime, right? In with somebody they're very close to, right? And you like with so much or like unu be away what I see on unu. When you call it is successful, you know me, which I go in each other. Man, I would hug about that. When you're about the first person you get meet, say a cake I get see me far. And we have such people in my life. And we have such people
at this stage,
yes,
in your
such
life.
people, and we hug about that. And when they got say, this is what is going on, and I need some counsel. I say, okay, go left or go right.
Yeah.
So if I need or depend
The dynamics.
on the dynamics between the mentee and the mentor, or the aspiring mentee and the potential mentor as well.
Let's talk about you as a mentor, because you are someone that has a lot of people that look up to you. What do you look out for in a mentee before opening your doors, opening your arm, and saying, "Nah, oh yeah, no, let me show you the ropes, or let me mentor you"?
Okay, so for someone like me, I'm like very serious-minded people. Ndị nwere a fairly good idea of ife achọrọ. Fairly good idea of ife achọrọ. And I say that because now, if you're coming, if you say you're in need of mentorship, right? Then hopefully, and I'm using this word very carefully, hopefully you have a sense of why you want to be mentored by this person. And hopefully your desire will be based on some aspects of this person's career or life or worldview that you're already aware of, and which you would like to mimic, or which you would like to copy, or which you would like to grow into, right? So I'm like I'm like serious-minded people. I'm like people who will lose some sense of where they're going to. But a very key aspect of all of this for me, people who can work with minimum supervision. People who can work with minimum supervision. And that's why, for instance, I made reference much earlier about certain experiences I've had where people then came and they just want to offload everything onto you before they drink water.
Micromanage them.
They don't want you to micromanage and things. Of course, it's not feasible. It's not feasible at all, because you have your own things you want to do. You have other people that you care about, that you want to look after. You're traveling, you're doing so many things. You have meetings and such similar undertakings. So I hope this helps. But I like people who are serious-minded, people who are disciplined, and people who can work with minimum supervision. Mentorship right there.
Is that yes?
Mentorship right there.
Right? So you mentioned something earlier, sir, about people that reach out to you for mentorship, and somewhere down the line, it's like they want to just let go of everything and have you live their lives for them. And how exactly did you manage the situation when that happened?
I mean, clearly, it's for me. I do this very easily, and I explain to you. So I recognize that more often than not, there's a lot of age difference between me and some of these people. So I understand that some of them may be going through a personal crisis, right? Even I, as I speak, I cannot attribute precociousness to myself. And so when I have met people who are clearly struggling with maybe their identity, they are struggling with what they would like to do, I understand it. I recognize it very easily. And so what I've often done is to then begin to counsel them along those lines, to really, go back to basic principles, where you're coming from. And then I try to seek a better understanding of their personal circumstances, the kind of nurture they have received, the kind of places they have been, the kinds of personal challenges that they are contending with. And that has helped me to really shape my intervention. And in a lot of cases, we've managed to get back on track in a fairly reasonable way and in a fairly reasonable time. In some other cases, it didn't quite work out,
And you had to let go.
Yes, and under such circumstance, I'm frank enough to say, you know what, we're not able to continue in that way, right? But I remain in touch, and then I'm able to continue to support, but not maybe as the kind of hands-on way that you would have wished at the beginning.
So in closing, let's talk about how much influence, how much of a role mentoring has played in our in the Igbo culture?
Well, I wish I could quantify it, right? But I want to say that it may be difficult to really quantify it
Because it's not documented.
Yes, it's not really documented. But let me go back to what I said earlier. It's a way of life for us, right? Whilst in the past people may have, been a little attributed some. People may have been condescending in describing our people as traders. But think about it. What is the world without trade? Huh? It is trade that is the foundation of global prosperity. That is the basis of the relationship between nations and all that, right? Whether societies are making progress or not, whether capital is formed or not, there's nothing that is not being traded. Even MTN is a trading company. They are trading in airtime and data. Yes. You look at Amazon. Yes. Amazon, what do? It's a huge virtual market, right? If it's Google, what is Google? Google is trading anything, any major, think about it. Whether it is oil and gas or whatever it is trading. It doesn't matter by whatever name you call it.
Something is being
exchanged. Yes. So, and for me as an Igbo, I'm happy that my people are in the forefront of this trade. We're recognized for our prowess, our extraordinary entrepreneurial spirit, our pioneering spirit, right? Our unmatched capacity to form capital, right? Unmatched, literally out of thin air. I'm very proud as a Igbo that our people have this unique and unmatched natural endowment, an irrepressible spirit, an irrepressible entrepreneurial spirit that no matter what happens, that stems from apprenticeship, stems from this mentorship, anything you want to call it, really. I'm really, really proud of our people.
I'm proud too.
Thank you.
I'm proud too. I'm proud too.
Thank you.
It's all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Frank Nweke Jr., for coming on Afia.
Yes, so Ivan Afia.
The traders.
The traders. Ivan Afia, Dalurin. Thank you so much. Thank you. Excellent crew, excellent setup. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Dalun.
One body.
On the news today, Tinubu rejects a bill to establish the Federal University of Education in Numan. On business news, Seplat takes over a former mobile following a $1.2 billion acquisition. And from the foreign scene, Biden plans to remove Cuba from the U.S. list of states sponsors of terrorism. Our special report is on Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Details of this and more coming ahead. From Enugu, Nigeria to the rest of the world, good afternoon and welcome to Afia TV News Today. I am Ubong King. And we begin the news with reports from Enugu State. It was reported that progress made with the Enugu Central Station at Holy Ghost in Ogui, Enugu, has sparked enthusiasm in the state. The terminal being constructed by the Enugu State government through the Ministry of Transportation contains two major terminal buildings for inter- and intra-state travel, respectively. Residents of Enugu State have expressed excitement about the improvement the modern bus terminals promise to bring to local transportation and employment opportunities for citizens in the state.
Intrastate travel. The terminal being constructed by the Enugu State government through the Ministry of Transportation contains two major terminal buildings for inter- and intrastate travel, respectively. Residents of Enugu State have expressed excitement about the improvement the modern bus terminal promised to bring to local transportation and employment opportunities for citizens in the state.
So about the terminal that our able governor is doing, it's very, I don't know how to describe it, but one in town. I have not seen the kind of, establishment in anywhere around the country. So he really did well, understand, and I really appreciate his handwork, understand. He's doing well for the people of Enugu State. And my prayer is that God will still continue to give him that mindset. What he's doing in Enugu State is great. The terminal is superb.
It's a very nice project because it will make it very convenient for travelers to locate the bus terminal wherever they are going to. So because it's actually two terminals, Terminal 1 and 2. So and there's as you can see, there's a crossover they put somewhere around the back. So if you are in Terminal 2 and you want to come to Terminal 1, you can easily use the flyover and you can come to Terminal 1. So that's it. It's a very nice project.
Well, I'm impressed with the work going on here, and the thing has beautified this area. In fact, the governor is doing something. I like the way this place is looking like. Unlike before, this place was filled with vehicles and aboro, all these unknown people. But now you can see how this place looks like now. When a vehicle comes in, it will just go in and park and pick or drop passengers. So the thing is okay.
This terminal governor is working. I'm very, very happy about this terminal. Governor have reduced unemployment in Enugu State, number one. Because this terminal will help us get many people to get work. And it comes to beautify Enugu State. I can say it from today, as I understand my governor. And now I know the meaning of tomorrow is here. Tomorrow is here, wait, make I enter, make I start my work. Do you understand? That's why I understand tomorrow is here. You people should not worry, tomorrow is here. I will do better than all that. And as I'm seeing this governor now, you know, topple other governors who have ruled other states, because 100 years this infrastructure will remain here. 100 years this structure will remain here. And if our generation will come say, who built this? He say, now Governor Peter Mba during his regime. So I'm very, very happy, and may God bless governor. Let him keep it up.
However, not everyone is celebrated. Miriam, a local POS operator, acknowledges the potential benefits of the new terminal, but she lamented that the ongoing construction has made it increasingly difficult for her business to thrive. She alleged that any attempt to set up a table for business could lead to officials of the Enugu State Ministry of Transport seizing her equipment with a daunting fee of 5,000 naira before it is returned.
Well, the bus terminal is okay, but for my honest reaction, I don't like it because Governor Mba is chasing me away from where I'm making my daily bread. So I don't like it. In fact, I'm very, very angry. I'll come out in the morning. I won't walk any walk because of where you normally used to stay. Governor Mba has chased us away. And if we say we should bring out our table and stay, all these MOT will come and carry our table, making us to pay 5,000 to come and carry the table. How much do you work in a day? This is where I get my daily bread, and I don't know what else to do. So Governor Mba, what you are doing is okay, but at least if you have make a space for us to go in before you start doing this.
As the construction of the terminal progresses, residents remain hopeful that the new facility will eliminate traffic congestion and security challenges while enhancing business activities. In Enugu, Ogochukwu Osai reporting for Afia TV.
Thank you, Ogochukwu. And moving on to other stories, January the 15th marks a critical chapter in Nigeria's history. It's a dual symbol, the end of Nigeria-Biafra War in 1970 and the annual Armed Forces Remembrance Day to honor the sacrifices of soldiers who defended the nation. However, the date carries unique significance for the Igbo people whose survival during and after the war is increasingly being seen as an act of divine grace. In this report, Emmanuel Wazwe, Afia TV Deputy Chief Correspondent, speaks to the old and new in the Nigerian question as they reflect on the life of Ndigbo and Nigeria at large.
The 1967 to 1970 Nigeria-Biafra War left scars of loss, displacement and suffering, particularly in the southeast. Yet, the resilience and rebuilding of the Igbo people in the aftermath remain a remarkable testament to human endurance and faith. Pastor Afia is a newspaper columnist and former commissioner for information in Abia State.
It's a watershed in the history of our country, Nigeria. It's one of the remarkable, very remarkable, notable points in our development trajectory. It's a reminder, it's a catalyst for us all to rise and do well in the cause of nation building. So I see that way, that it's a significant point. Every nation growing up do have their points where they want to, where they have to look back and say, how has it been? I think that is one of it, to look back, recall our mistakes, and then look at our progress, and then know what else is going to do. And I think if we look at it, a lot of job is still required to be done.
Elder Sunday Uko is a veteran of the Nigerian Army who served as a combat army engineer officer and retired over 25 years ago. I paid him a visit at his country home, where he now enjoys his retirement.
That Biafra-Nigeria war is historical. No time Nigeria will ever live to forget it. It made them to remember what they lost or what they can only remember. For instance, if you check the amalgamation of 1914 and up to the formation of the 2 or 3 regions, Eastern region, Western region, and Northern region, that marked Nigeria, beginning of Nigeria, 1914. Look at India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan were one country. They became sovereign each way by 1947. And so on. There are a lot of cry for freedom, cry for self-rule. There's nothing wrong in somebody crying, looking for self-rule. I don't see any reason. I have no reason why anybody should not be given room to exist. Therefore, in Nigeria itself, we were 3 regions. When Gowon came into power, he created about 12 states or thereabout. Murtala Mohammed came and made it about 19, and so on. It had been, we are still crying for more. That suggests that we all are looking for freedom.
Francis Obonaya, a journalist, says no.
Risk their life, who risked their lives, and who are still risking their lives to protect many of us, to make sure that we even have these conversations we are having today. So it's a very important day. If you be married to a military person or you have a military person around you, or you've lost someone in the military, maybe at the battlefield. So
Her opinion has a unanimous support.
We're all part of, we're still part of Nigeria. And, I prefer looking at it from the context of a global context that, yeah, there are efforts to build the nation, and there are very big obstacles. And it's time for us to sit down and critically take note of those obstacles, hindrances, and find sustainable answers to them. That's how I see it. I see it as a lesson in history for Nigeria development.
That is, if you ask me, very, very individualistic. Because that's Igbo haven't got a government, have no government in place. If they do, they can do it, call it any name. But they do it internally. Some of us who saw and witnessed the war, we have so much to say. But we may not be very, very free now because we are not sovereign states.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day, observed nationwide, provides an opportunity to honoring sacrifices while fostering peace and unity.
They should deserve all the best. Anybody who gives you his life to make your own better should deserve the best. So we are doing well so far, but we can do better. There is something called better. If you are doing good, yeah, but there is something called better and then best. There's need to step it up. I want to see them really catered for. And so,
if you be married to a military person, or you have a military person around you, or you've lost someone in the military, maybe at the battlefield, so you understand how important Armed Forces Remembrance Day is.
The veteran testifies to this.
If you ask me, I would say they are very, very fine. The debt they owe me now is this month. They are not owing me or any of us anything as I'm talking to you now, which suggests that their treatment was fine.
The Igbo experience underscores the power of faith, hard work, and community in overcoming adversity. However, understanding the causes of the war reinforces the need for dialogue and equitable governance. In Umuahia, Emmanuel Mwazwe reporting.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Moving on, in other stories, January 15 holds profound significance for Nigerians. 55 years ago, the Nigerian Civil War came to an end. Today also marks the Nigerian Armed Forces Remembrance Day, a day to honor the sacrifices of soldiers who fought for peace and unity. Afia TV correspondent John Kennedy Obuna gathered the thoughts of residents on this significant day and amid growing calls for the Igbo people to recognize it as a day of thanksgiving. John Kennedy has more details.
55 years later, the memory of the Nigerian Civil War continues to shape conversations about unity, reconciliation, and progress. Today, residents of Owerri are reflecting on lessons learned from the war, with historians and residents stressing the importance of peace and mutual respect in preventing a repeat of such tragedy.
January 15th of every year is very, very important to Nigerians. So that's when the late heroes who died during the war, when they are remembered. So it's very, very important because they are not forgotten just like that. The remembrance of them also indicates that they are not just forgotten. So that's just it.
Dịka anyị nọ ugbu anyị ndị Igbo anyị kwesịrị ịmụta ihe dị egwu because ụwa kemgbe aha nọ mee ha lụrụ agha ama mmụọ n'ụwa kegbu I believe in so the same thing. So ndị nọ mee ha ndị kwesịrị ịma my own this experience mere na ekwesịrị ụta anyị nọ na ekwesịghị bịa were